Iter title, Beaten into Fame, How a Rowdy Kid Became the King of Kung Fu. When Jackie Chan was born, he probably had no idea he'd grow up to be a global action hero, and frankly, neither did his parents. For starters, the guy came into this world weighing a whopping 12 pounds, over 5.5 kilos. His mom nearly died in childbirth, and his folks had to borrow money just to pay the hospital bill. Talk about entering the world with flair and financial trauma. His parents, refugees fleeing China's civil war, found jobs working for the French consul in Hong Kong. Dad was a cook, Mom a maid, and yes, they lived in the prestigious Victoria Peak area, in a servant's quarters the size of a closet. Glamorous on the outside, tragic on the inside. At home, Jackie was known as Pow Pow, which translates to cannonball. Why? Because the kid never stopped bouncing around. He was chaos with a smile. His dad didn't take this lightly. He made little Jackie get up at the crack of dawn to train in Kung Fu. Before the cereal came, the kicks and punches. Character building 101. Then came the big twist. At the age of 7, his parents moved to Australia for work, and basically went, "Bye, kid, good luck." They enrolled him in the China Drama Academy in Hong Kong, a place that sounds fun and theatrical, but was more like a military boot camp, disguised as a performing arts school. There, Jackie was trained in Peking opera, martial arts, acrobatics, and vocal performance. It was 18 hours of training a day, with barely enough rice to fill a bowl. Misstep, you got beaten, weakness, you got beaten again. Welcome to the elite school of pain. Jackie spent 10 full years there. No recess, no PlayStation, no childhood, just bruises, flips, and discipline that would make a Marine cry. But he became part of a star student squad known as the Seven Little Fortunes, alongside future collaborators Sammo Hung and Yuen Biao, the eventual Three Dragons of Hong Kong cinema. By age 8, Jackie was already acting in films. His first role was in Big and Little Wong Tin Bar, but while he could somersault like a ninja and sing like a tiny opera ghost, reading and writing were not his thing. School didn't really teach him literacy. He learned on film sets and construction sites. At 17, Jackie graduated from the school and started working as a stuntman. You can even spot him in Fist of Fury and Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee. But here's the thing. He was terrible at pretending to be Bruce. Too goofy, too expressive, too Jackie. So he did what geniuses do. He stopped copying and started creating. He fused martial arts with slapstick comedy. His breakout films, Snake in the Eagle's Shadow and Drunken Master, made audiences laugh and wince at the same time. And lose teeth. Jackie himself lost one. He also nearly went blind doing stunts, but that was just Tuesday. Behind the kicks and comedy, there was family mystery too. When Jackie hit 40, his dad finally told him the truth. "I was a spy for the Chinese government during World War II," he said. "And your mum? She smuggled opium and gambled her way through Shanghai." Cue dramatic music. Jackie was so stunned, he made a documentary about it called Traces of the Dragon. So yeah, while the world saw him as the funny martial arts guy who jumped off rooftops, inside was a guy with a James Bond dad and a Shanghai noir queen for a mum. And somehow he became a household name without ever forgetting the hellish training and absurd childhood that shaped him. Even today, Jackie still does most of his own stunts. Why? Because he's Jackie. He believes pain is just muscle memory and that you don't stop because it hurts. You stop when the director yells, "Cut!" He once said, "I became who I am not because I was given anything, but because I never gave up." Which is rich coming from a guy who got hit so much as a kid, he practically turned into human concrete. Atoll Born with a Bang, the story of a human cannonball. When Jackie Chan came into this world, the doctors probably had no idea they were delivering the future king of action scenes. He weighed over 5.5 kilograms, not a baby, but a fully equipped stunt double straight out of the womb. His poor mother almost died from this production, and his father had to run off and borrow money just to pay the hospital bill. And just like that, the human cannonball entered the world. And yes, that was literally his childhood nickname. By the time Jackie was born, his family had already lived through enough drama to fill a trilogy. Civil war in China, fleeing across borders, losses, relocations. Eventually they settled in Hong Kong. His parents found work with a French diplomat. Dad as a cook, Mom as a maid. Sounds fancy, right? Well, only if you think living in a cupboard under the stairs next to a palace qualifies as elite. From the outside, it looked posh. On the inside, more like survival mode. Little Jackie was a walking storm. Imagine a toddler on 3 shots of espresso. That was him. He bounced off walls, broke furniture, ran non-stop, and generally gave off the impression that a SWAT team had moved into the apartment. His parents, exhausted from the daily chaos, came up with a solution. Strict discipline. Very strict. Up at dawn, kung fu training, no nonsense. Make a mistake, get a slap, make another, get another. Effective. Perhaps. Gentle. Not at all. But the real turning point came when Jackie turned 7, and no, a rich uncle didn't adopt him. His parents simply packed up and left for Australia. Yep, bye, kid. Good luck with life. They enrolled Jackie in the China Drama Academy back in Hong Kong, a place that sounds like fun, like Broadway for children, but was really more like a boot camp disguised as a school. Instead of rifles, there were bamboo sticks, and guess what? Those sticks were for beating the students, for everything, being slow, sloppy, or even just tired. So at age 7, Jackie began a life not as a child, but as a soldier in a circus. The academy trained kids in everything: martial arts, acrobatics, dance, singing, acting. The schedule? Odd hours a day. For dessert, smacks to the back. Mess up, get hit. Slow flip, get hit again. Miss a note in the opera song? You already know. There was no family around, no TV, not even real toys, just pain in the muscles and yelling teachers, but it was in that sweaty, bruised, back-breaking boot camp that Jackie Chan was born. Not the baby, but the legend. Not a star, but a human Terminator with a sense of humor. The irony is, if he'd been born an average-sized baby, he might have grown up to be a totally normal kid. But fate kicked him into showbiz from day one, and, surprisingly, that kick turned out to be golden. Welcome to the Academy of Pain, or How They Beat the Star Out of Jackie. If you think acting school is a cozy little place where kids sing songs, doodle with crayons, and play pretend, think again. Welcome to the China Drama Academy, Jackie Chan's childhood alma mater, where the curriculum consisted of pole vaulting into agony, shouting through pain, and standing on your fingers until you forgot what happiness felt like. This was art school, yes, but with more bruises than applause. When Jackie turned 7, his parents escaped his chaos-powered personality by literally moving to Australia. They left their son behind in Hong Kong under the watchful eye, read iron grip, of the academy. And when we say under their care, what we mean is the place was part boot camp, part prison, part traveling circus, with none of the pay but plenty of sticks. The daily schedule, 18 hours. No weekends, no candy, no, I don't feel like it, teacher. The students were taught everything, and we mean everything. Peking opera, singing while backflipping, martial arts, kicking without dying, acrobatics, flipping without dying, stage acting, and of course, the noble art of not crying when you're whacked with a bamboo rod. The teachers weren't mentors in the modern, nurturing sense. They were drill sergeants in tracksuits, armed with sticks and unresolved rage. One wrong note, whack. Too slow on a split, whack. Blinked at the wrong time, triple whack. And yes, little Jackie got the full treatment, but he didn't break. He absorbed the beatings like a sponge and somehow converted them into career fuel. To everyone's surprise, he started to shine, not just because he could take a beating, but because he did it with flair. Jackie was that rare kid who could flip 3 times in the air with a grin like, "I just tricked all of you." He sang opera with a black eye and still hit the high notes. Eventually, he was chosen for the elite group of graduates, the 7 Little Fortunes. Think of them as a junior Avengers squad, but with fewer capes and more joint pain. Among these 7 were future Hong Kong legends like Sammo Hung and Yuen Biao, guys who would later break bones together with Jackie on movie sets. But back then, they were just scrappy kids who knew how to spin in mid-air and not land on their heads. What's really wild, despite the abuse, Jackie never ran away, never staged a rebellion, never screamed, "This isn't what I signed up for." He just kept going, because somewhere deep down, someone must have told him loud and clear, either you become a machine, or you stay nobody. And guess what? He became a machine, a cheerful, charming, unstoppable machine. From lamppost to lighting his own head on fire, Jackie Chan's first steps in film. After a decade in the China Drama Academy, where every day felt like a personal boot camp run by Chuck Norris, Jackie Chan finally crawled into the real world. The problem? The real world wasn't exactly waiting with open arms, a red carpet, or even a halfway decent paycheck. In the Hong Kong film industry of the 1970s, there wasn't room on the throne even for martial arts royalty, let alone for a skinny kid with a baby face and emotional trauma from bamboo beatings. Jackie's first job in film was basically being furniture. Okay, maybe not furniture exactly, but close. His role was to stand in the background, breathe quietly, and die gracefully, sometimes 10 times a day. He was the guy who got thrown off rooftops, set on fire, stabbed in the gut with a sword, and then stood up to do it again in the next scene, but now as a different faceless henchman. But Jackie wasn't just any extra, he was an extra with ambition. He quickly realized that if you wanted to stand out in this business, you had to fall down like you were loving it. Get hit in the face, do it with style, fly off a balcony, stick the landing like it's the Olympics, set yourself on fire, smile and ask for another take. His superpower wasn't that he didn't feel pain, it was that he didn't fear it, or maybe he was just a really good actor. Soon, directors started noticing. Jackie became the go-to guy for every job that sounded like a hospital visit waiting to happen. Falls, explosions, car stunts, window dives. If you needed a guy to light his own pants on fire in the name of cinema, you called Chan. Of course, the pay was pathetic, but Jackie wasn't working for money. He was investing in his future. While other stuntmen tried to survive the day, Jackie tried to own it, and one day someone really important noticed. Not a critic, not a casting agent, but the actual Bruce Lee. Yes, at one point, Jackie ended up on the set of a Bruce Lee movie and even got punched in the face by Bruce Lee himself. That's not sarcasm. It literally happened. Bruce accidentally smacked Jackie during a scene, and what did Jackie do? He didn't get mad. He acted the pain so well that Bruce stopped filming, apologized, and remembered him. That was the moment when a nameless stuntman began transforming into Hong Kong's next action icon. While everyone else tried to become the next Bruce Lee, Jackie had a better idea. He became the first Jackie Chan, the guy who fell off skyscrapers and cracked jokes while doing it. That was his secret sauce, doing the craziest, most painful things imaginable with a grin on his face. And sure, at the time, he was just that guy who falls well. But very soon, he'd become the reason people bought tickets to watch those falls. Bruce Lee left, Jackie Chan arrived, and fell off a roof. Again. After Bruce Lee's death, the entire Hong Kong film industry went into mild panic mode. Who's going to punch people with a philosophical stare now? Studios frantically searched for the new Bruce, but all they got were discount versions with none of the spark. And then came a guy who didn't want to be Bruce. He wanted to fall, get smacked, laugh in danger's face, and treat bruises like badges of honor. That guy was Jackie Chan. Instead of icy seriousness, he brought chaos, comedy, and orthopedic bills. Imagine a hero who doesn't walk through fire. He trips, crashes into 3 bad guys, and somehow survives with his shirt ripped, hair smoking, and reputation shining. Jackie created a new archetype, not the perfect fighter, but the relatable, slightly clumsy, yet incredibly charismatic guy who survives on willpower and backflips. That's when the real boom started. In 1978, with Snake in the Eagle's shadow, Jackie became a box office magnet. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. Here was a hero who both took hits and gave them, who could do a flip and crack a joke all in one motion. His next film, Drunken Master, sealed the deal. A fighter who fights like a drunk but drinks only tea? Iconic. Studios finally got the message. No need for a new Bruce when you have the original Jackie. His style was a mix of circus, kung fu, and Looney Tunes. Every fight scene was like a brawl in an IKEA showroom. Chairs flying, shelves crashing, someone falling off something tall, and you couldn't look away. He wasn't just the actor. He was the director, the stunt choreographer, and a walking 3-dimensional disaster you loved to watch. And here's the kicker. No stunt doubles. Every fall, him. Every explosion, him. Every broken bone, all his. Even when he literally fractured his skull on set. Yes, that happened. He just checked it off his list like, 1 more take, done. Jackie showed the world that action didn't have to be dark and broody. It could be fun, human, almost cozy. He turned fight scenes into performance art and made failure look heroic. Next to him, superheroes in spandex felt about as exciting as a quarterly financial report. He became a hero not because he always won, but because he always got back up. Hollywood wanted a new hero. It got Jackie Chan holding a ladder and a broken collarbone. When Jackie Chan burst into Hollywood, producers were a bit confused. They were expecting another ninja with a stone-cold face, a stern gaze, and some deep philosophy about inner peace. What they got was a guy who fell down the stairs, smashed into chandeliers, set himself on fire, laughed, and did all of it in a single shot. Who was this man? A comedian, a fighter, a madman? The answer was simple. A star. Just the Asian kind. His first attempts to break into Hollywood weren't exactly failures, but they were odd. In the 1980s, they threw him into movies where he was supposed to be the Eastern friend of the main guy. Sometimes he spoke, sometimes he just nodded. Occasionally he even fought. But that wasn't Jackie. That was Jackie's shadow, rolled flat into an American script without the spicy sauce. The real breakthrough came in 1995 with Rumble in the Bronx. Yes, that film where The Bronx was actually filmed in Canada, and you could see mountains in the background. Did anyone care? Absolutely not. All eyes were on Chan, smashing bad guys with refrigerators, leaping between rooftops, and laughing when he really should have been dead. Americans were blown away. Who was this miracle man? He fought like Bruce Lee but looked like someone who never got comfortable in his own clothes. Not a macho man, not a superhero, just a real guy who could punch a villain and bite a stool if the scene called for it. Then came the avalanche. Rush Hour, a total hit. His duo with Chris Tucker became iconic, even if you didn't understand half of their jokes. Jackie was finally allowed to talk, with an accent, with mistakes, but to actually speak, not just kick people. And audiences loved him for it. Raw, weird, unpolished, and real. Hollywood surrendered. Yes, he was different. But that was exactly his advantage. He didn't pretend to be a hero. He was one. He didn't play Superman. He actually jumped off balconies, broke his nose, and was back on set 2 days later. And even if he spoke Mandarin behind the scenes and memorized lines phonetically, the audience didn't care. He was authentic. And in a world of polished faces and dubbed emotions, that felt like a blast of ice-cold water after a Michael Bay movie. So Hollywood finally understood. It didn't need a new kind of hero. It needed Jackie Chan, Funny, dangerous, slightly insane, and completely one of a kind. Jackie Chan, the millionaire who won't give his son a dime, but will build a school in the middle of nowhere. In a world where rich kids get richer just for being born in the right bed, Jackie Chan decided to flip the table. Millions in the bank? Sure. Mansions, cars, collectibles? Absolutely. And now for the twist. His son is probably the only guy on the block guaranteed to inherit nothing. Because, as Jackie himself says, if he earns it, he deserves it. If he doesn't, he'll just waste it. Ah yes, the loving father, with the wisdom of a Shaolin monk and the discipline of a corporate tyrant. To be fair, Jackie loves spending money, just not on himself. And definitely not on his family. He builds schools, he donates to educational programs, he helps disaster victims, he even sets aside parts of his paychecks not for retirement, but for the poor. Sounds noble, right? Absolutely. But at the same time, he quips, I've been poor, I've been rich, and I can tell you, expensive suits fit better. Yet despite the millions, Jackie walks around with zero flash. He doesn't wear rings that blind people, or watches that scream midlife crisis. He's the kind of guy who might fly economy class, and then use his savings to build a school for girls in a village that barely has electricity. Like a Marvel superhero, but without the cape. All sounds great, until you meet Jackie's unyielding side. His son, J.C. Chan, did jail time for drug charges. Jackie's response wasn't the usual, kids will be kids, PR fluff. No, sir. He gave a press conference basically saying, fair punishment. I won't interfere. Let him learn real life. Then he casually mentioned he's planning to donate all of his fortune to charity. Hang in there, JC. When reporters ask why he's so strict with his son, Jackie shrugs. If I had been handed everything for free, I'd be lazy too. Harsh, sure. Effective, apparently. His foundation now helps thousands across Asia. While he peacefully sips tea with monks or teaches kids in rural schools he built himself. So Jackie is living proof that millions don't always turn you into a luxury-addicted snob. Sometimes they turn you into a slightly crazy, extremely generous uncle who might give you a gym, a house, and a kung fu lesson, all in one day. But give his son a Ferrari? Nope, maybe a bicycle, and only if he builds it himself. Jackie Chan. The meme, the legend, the man who falls downstairs and lifts an entire industry. When the internet started turning people into memes, most celebrities tried to run from it. Some filed lawsuits, others pretended they didn't see it. And Jackie Chan? He just smiled. Because he understood long ago, if you do things that others couldn't even dream of, sooner or later, you'll become a meme. And that's actually an honor. Jackie is a unique creature. He fits equally well in an action film or a noodle commercial. In one scene he's jumping from the 5th floor, and in the next he's hugging a panda. He's the only person who can look exhausted, happy, and dangerous, all at the same time. The internet took note, that meme of him holding his head with the caption WTF. It's a classic. In the photo he looks like he's trying to comprehend how he even survived after 3 fractures and crashing into a chandelier. That image is from an interview where he was talking about how he almost died, then went back to finish the scene. Because, in his words, you don't let the crew down. Jackie is also a walking cultural bridge. He's known in Asia, adored in Europe, quoted in America, and used as profile pics in Brazil. He's become the symbol of Eastern wisdom with Western self-irony. No surprise TikTok trends are made using clips from his movies, and YouTube still pumps out compilations of his stunt fails, all set to circus music. Here's the paradox. As he's gotten older, he hasn't become less popular. He's become even more beloved. Younger fans love his old stunts because it's not green screen and not CGI. It's a real guy who literally smashed his face into a window with no stunt double. Even Marvel can't fake that kind of authenticity. Sure, he acts less frequently now, but every appearance feels like a beloved uncle visiting. Maybe he's got grey hair now, but he still knows how to crack a joke, do a cartwheel, and morally humiliate any overhyped superhero with a single smile. So yes, Jackie Chan isn't just an actor, he's a cultural phenomenon. A meme you're proud to send your mum, a legend who jokes about himself, and a living example that fame doesn't always mean glamour and autographs. Sometimes it means a black eye, a 3 a.m., shoot, and oops, broke my nose again. Oh well. Jackie Chan, the man who punches faces and saves the world, sometimes on the same day. What could be more unexpected than an actor known for falling down staircases in every film becoming a United Nations goodwill ambassador? Well, maybe Batman selling cookies at a charity bake sale. But really, it's Jackie. The man who once broke every bone imaginable is now fixing something most people have already given up on, this weird, tired little world. In 2004, UNICEF officially made Jackie Chan their ambassador, as in the real deal. Not just donated some money. He actually flew to poor regions in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. And not for a glossy photo shoot. He went for real, smiling, in a regular shirt, without bodyguards or entourage. He simply walked in, talked to the kids, signed autographs, and said, "Study hard, don't quit school. It was hard for me too, you know." And he's not lying. Jackie was a hyperactive kid who was almost sent to a factory, but ended up in the Beijing Opera School instead. There, he was beaten with sticks for falling wrong and trained to survive on empty stomachs. So when he tells kids in slums, "Hang in there, it'll get better," he's not speaking as a movie star. He's speaking as a former bruised-up kid who's been through it. Over the years, his involvement became almost symbolic. Jackie has been the face of international campaigns against HIV, has sung about protecting the environment and, somehow, still kicks bad guys with chairs in movies. Not every action hero writes a book titled, "I'm not an angel, but I try." His charitable work is hard to quantify. He's built dozens of schools, hospitals, and shelters, and not as a PR move or a tax write-off. He does it because he genuinely wants to help. And he keeps saying things like, "I'm just a regular guy who got lucky. If you can help, do it." Sure, just a regular guy who hangs out with the Dalai Lama, meets heads of state, and stars in films where he puts out fires while rescuing children. He's the ultimate paradox. He dodges all the showbiz arrogance but ends up a hero to kids, politicians, and even stoic monks who usually don't care for movies. Jackie Chan isn't just an actor or a meme, he's a walking, kicking example of how to stay human while earning millions and not lose yourself. He's like one of those legendary monks from kung fu films, funny, wise, with cuts on his face, but light in his eyes. And the best part, he's still saving the world, just now, without the flying sidekick to the head. Jackie Chan and the family drama, when a superhero isn't exactly super dad. It seems like Jackie Chan can do it all. Jump off rooftops, smack bad guys with frying pans, sing, even design his own clothing line, yes, really, and rescue humanity from moral decay. But if there's one award he's never even been nominated for, it's Father of the Year. Jackie's son, J.C. Chan, is not exactly a villain. He's into music, has acted in some films, and even dabbled in singing. But in 2014, all of China nearly choked on their morning rice when news broke that JC had landed in jail. Why? For marijuana possession. And not just a tiny stash, a whole 100 grams. That's not, "Oops, I found a joint in my pocket." That's, "I forgot I own half a dispensary." And what did Jackie do? Something no one expected. He didn't rush to protect his son. He didn't try to cover it up. He publicly declared, "Yes, he's my son. Yes, he made a mistake. And yes, he'll face the law. I won't pull strings. He has to learn to be a man." Brutal. Maybe, but Jackie has always preached discipline like a kung fu monk with a parenting book. He even added that he wouldn't be leaving his son an inheritance. His exact words, "If he's capable, he can make his own money. If not, that's not my problem." And on that day, millions of dads around the world whispered, "Now that's a real man." Meanwhile, millions of sons thought, "Please don't let my dad read this." JC, for the record, served 6 months in prison, got out, and has since kept a much lower profile. The father-son duo seem to have patched things up. But don't expect a Hollywood-style hug in the rain. It's more like a silent nod between two warriors in the final scene of a kung fu movie. Respectful, but distant. And then there's Jackie's daughter, Etta Ung, from a brief relationship. This chapter is even messier. The two have almost no relationship. Etta has openly stated that her father is completely absent from her life. And Jackie? It's like she doesn't exist. In interviews he talks about charity, about films, about the dangers of pride, but when it comes to his daughter, radio silence, like she was edited out of the script. So here we have the global icon, the action hero, the walking UN ambassador. But in the family saga, he's more of a side character than the lead. Maybe he really wasn't cut out to be a perfect dad. Maybe he just spent too much time on set and not enough at school plays, but unlike many, at least he's honest about it. No tears, no excuses, just matter-of-fact reality. Even legends have their blind spots, especially when it comes to family, and maybe, just maybe, even superheroes should try staying home sometimes. I think I broke everything. How Jackie Chan made pain fashionable. If Hollywood had a god of pain, his name would be Jackie Chan. He doesn't just do his own stunts. He does them like insurance is for cowards, and bones are optional. While regular actors demand stunt doubles to dive into a swimming pool, Jackie was out there jumping from trees, sliding down live power cables, leaping off 6-story buildings, and once smacked his head so hard on a rock it left a literal hole in his skull. A real one, with a plastic plug inside, just to keep his brain from spilling out. A DIY pro tip from the martial arts messiah. And the best part? He filmed it all. Not just filmed, he made a tradition of including bloopers and injury clips in the end credits, so the audience could enjoy not just the action, but the agony too. Somewhere producers were sweating bullets over liability costs, while Jackie was lying on the asphalt, grinning and saying, "Let's do one more take." Once he cracked his spine. Another time, he punctured a lung. There was an incident where he flew off a motorcycle and crashed straight through a store window. But hey, the scene looked awesome. Tom Cruise might dangle from planes, but comparing him to Jackie is like comparing a baseball cap to a tank helmet in combat. And yet all of this made him a legend. In a world where people are terrified of breaking a nail, Jackie just keeps going. Even when they break his nose 10 times, even when he loses a tooth, he's stuck in a fake one himself, even when he films with a 39-degree Siki fever because the schedule is the schedule. Oh, and by the way, he has his own hospital. No joke, if you're breaking bones more often than renewing your passport, having your own clinic is just practical. And the insurance? Millions. Insurers reportedly cry at the sound of his name, and that's not even counting how many cameras he's smashed with his face. So why does he do it? For money? Fame? Artistic passion? Nah, he does it because that's who he is. He's from that rare breed of actors who don't just play heroes, they live like heroes. Not Marvel ones, but real ones, with bruises, scars, and titanium parts holding them together. That's Jackie, a man who built a career out of fractures and turned pain into a personal brand. Don't try this at home. Seriously. Jackie Chan's Forbidden Kingdom. How a kung fu star bought himself a French castle in the heart of Beverly Hills. If you think Beverly Hills mansions are reserved for rappers, Hollywood divas, and oligarchs with gold-plated toilets, you've clearly forgotten one man. His name is Jackie Chan, and he didn't just buy houses, he performed architectural stunts. Here's the story of how a martial arts legend built his very own Forbidden Kingdom right in the heart of America. In 1998, when Brad Pitt still answered landline phones and Jackie Chan was just beginning to conquer Hollywood with his acrobatic charm, he bought himself a French-style villa stretching over nearly 7,638 square feet. This wasn't a house, not a cottage, a villa, with columns, fountains, a fireplace, and a swimming pool big enough to rehearse scenes from Drunken Master in it. The price tag, just $3 million, which for Beverly Hills is basically like buying a truffle burger. And what did you get for that kind of money? First, a courtyard with a fountain, where Jackie could, if he felt like it, hold philosophical conversations with ducks. Second, a 3-car garage, at least one space probably filled with some rare Mitsubishi model. Then there's the pool, jacuzzi, 6 bedrooms, so he didn't have to sleep in the same one more than once a week, and the kind of European chic with a Chinese soul only Jackie could pull off. What's more, Jackie couldn't resist adding his own flair to the place. According to rumors, he adapted the villa to his lifestyle, added a training zone, kung fu mirrors arranged in feng shui harmony, and possibly even a special cabinet just for his many injury insurance policies. Let's not forget, the man literally once fractured his skull on set. In 2015, he sold the estate for nearly $6.3 million, and later, the next owner resold it for $275 million. So yes, the house quadrupled in value. Turns out, even real estate touched by Jackie Chan knows how to execute an epic jump. Fans dubbed it the Forbidden Kingdom, and the nickname stuck. The villa became a symbol of how an Eastern guy who used to break bricks with his forehead in Hong Kong action flicks stormed American elite circles, not through the back door, but right through the front gate, with a flying kick and that signature smile. The moral of the story: never underestimate a guy who can break a board with his face. He might also sell you a Beverly Hills mansion with an $8 million profit. Ferrari, nah, let's trade it for your house. Jackie Chan's wildly extra car obsession. When most of us say we love our car, we mean we pat the steering wheel when it doesn't stall in traffic. When Jackie Chan says it, he means he's personally tuned a Mitsubishi to fit his fighting style, and once casually suggested swapping a Ferrari worth $1 million for someone's house. That, friends, is a whole different level of auto-romance. Let's get this straight. Jackie doesn't just collect cars, he curates them. Imagine a garage that's more sacred than some people's bedrooms. Spotless, dramatically lit, probably with a kung fu soundtrack playing in the background. That's where his fleet of custom rides lives. Ferraris, of course, but not just any Ferraris. We're talking sleek, luxury beasts that most of us only see on calendars or rap videos. And Jackie, he treats them like gym shoes. Then come the Mitsubishis. Wait, you say, isn't that what my uncle drives to the hardware store? Yes, but Jackie's Mitsubishis aren't your uncle's. These are special editions, some custom-built just for him, tuned like performance athletes. Faster, lighter, meaner. There's even a rumor that Mitsubishi once gave him a model and let him tweak it however he wanted. That's not a sponsorship. That's a long-term relationship. And just when you think he's only into speed, boom, he hits you with the vintage cars, the kind with character, stories, and probably a few quirks that make them extra lovable. Like, oops, the glove compartment only opens if you whisper in Cantonese. Jackie appreciates these rolling time machines, not because they're fast, but because they've got soul. But the real kicker is how casual he is about it all. According to one viral Reddit post, Jackie once joked about trading a Ferrari for someone's house. No negotiation, no hesitation, just, you want the car? I'll take your place. Whether he meant it or not is irrelevant. The fact that he could mean it is enough to make anyone question their life choices. Like, why do I own IKEA furniture and not an Italian supercar? And he doesn't even drive them all. Some sit on display like automotive royalty. Some he loans out for stunts, films, or just to show off to his friends. Jackie isn't hoarding these cars like Gollum. He's sharing the love, the horsepower, and the absurdity of owning more than one vehicle that can hit 0 to 100 km/h faster than you can say rush hour. So next time your neighbor brags about his new Lexus, just remember, Jackie Chan probably has something in his garage that could eat that Lexus for breakfast, and he might just trade it for your mortgage. Jackie, are you insane? How an action star gifted 400-year-old houses to a university. If someone told you Jackie Chan collects houses, you'd probably imagine a couple of villas in Los Angeles and a penthouse in Shanghai. But nope, he collects ancient Chinese houses made of sandalwood that are over 400 years old just because he can. At some point in his life, when regular millionaires are busy buying another Ferrari or a yacht with a helipad, Jackie thought, I want to buy Ming Dynasty houses. And not just any houses, but genuine architectural masterpieces from Anhui Province, complete with pagodas, inner courtyards, and even a stage for Chinese opera. Why, to rebuild them in Hong Kong in honor of his father. Because while some people give socks, Jackie gives a complex of sandalwood buildings. But alas, Hong Kong bureaucracy said, Are you out of your mind? We don't even have enough parking space, and you want to build a museum of antiquities? Jackie, of course, could have staged a kung fu flash mob in front of City Hall, but instead he pulled a move worthy of a Taoist philosopher. He donated these ancient treasures to a university in Singapore, just sent over 10 pavilions, an opera stage, and tons of valuable wood gathered from all over China. No deadlines, no technical briefs, just generosity and respect for heritage. So picture this. A student munching on instant noodles during a break, then heading to class in a building that was originally built centuries before. Electricity was even a thing, because Jackie Chan thought it was a cool idea. How much did it cost? Well, factoring in transportation, restoration, storage, and reconstruction, a lot. It's rumored the gesture could be worth tens of millions of dollars. But can you really put a price on honoring your ancestors? Especially if you're Jackie Chan and your garage is already packed with everything from limited edition Mitsubishis to European luxury cars. The moral of the story? While other celebrities splurge on NFT apes and collectible watches, Jackie preserves Chinese architecture and gifts it to future generations. With humor, zero pretension, and a giant heart. So next time you hear the word philanthropist, don't think of boring charity foundations and staged check handovers. Think of Jackie, the man who bought 400-year-old homes and simply gave them away. Because sometimes Kung Fu isn't a kick, it's a punch to the ego. When Kung Fu meets formula, why Jackie Chan became a racing team owner. Okay, Jackie Chan, actor, stuntman, singer, philanthropist, collector of ancient houses, semi-deity in China, and just an all-around great guy. But who would have guessed he's also the owner of a racing team? Yep, while you're barely making it to the supermarket in your Kia on weekends, Jackie has been tearing up the tracks at Le Mans since 2015. And no, he didn't do it just for the flex or the adrenaline rush. Well, maybe a little for the adrenaline. Together with professional driver David Cheng, he launched Jackie Chan DC Racing, a team that competes in serious series like the FIA World Endurance Championship and the legendary 24 Hours of Le Mans. It's like if Sean Connery suddenly became president of the World Curling Federation. Sounds ridiculous, but somehow, with Jackie, it just works. But don't think he's just chilling in a VIP suite sipping green tea. A project like this costs millions of dollars. One car is worth as much as an apartment in central London. Logistics? Think 4 weddings in Dubai. Then there are engineers, mechanics, coaches, sleepless nights, and of course, a logo with Chinese characters. And all of this because Jackie genuinely loves not only spinning heel kicks, but also high speeds. In interviews, he said that racing is just like an action movie, except instead of fists, you've got engines, and instead of enemies, there are 200-kilometer-h corners. Admit it, there's some real philosophy there, and the team isn't just showing up, they're actually winning. In 2017, Jackie Chan DC Racing made headlines by becoming the first Chinese team to lead the overall standings at Le Mans. Just imagine the faces of the French crowd. They came expecting another European victory, and then boom, a team named Chan and a driver named Ho take the lead. Why does he do it? Well, first of all, because he can. Secondly, because he wants to promote Chinese sports on the global stage. And third, because, let's face it, sitting on the couch watching Drunken Master reruns gets boring at 70. So if you thought Jackie Chan had already done it all, add this to the list. Owner of one of the coolest teams in motorsport. And next time you're watching a race, keep an eye out. Somewhere out there, a race car might be speeding by, bankrolled by the Kung Fu legend himself. Jackie Chan, martial arts star, restaurant tycoon, cinema mogul, and fitness guru, all in one. If you thought Jackie Chan just smashes heads with chairs for entertainment, oh, you sweet summer child, you've seriously underestimated the man. Turns out Jackie is not only the king of Kung Fu and the face behind Drunken Master, but also a very savvy businessman. So savvy, in fact, that he's built an entire brand empire, which looks like the fever dream of an investor who also wants to jump kick people in slow motion. Let's start with food. Where there's food, there's Jackie. He launched Jackie Chan Cafe and a bunch of restaurants all across Asia. Hong Kong, Beijing, Singapore, the Philippines, you name it. You can sip tea and slurp noodles under a portrait of Jackie in traditional robes. Rumor has it the dishes are washed with flying kicks. The food? Pretty tasty, they say. But the vibe is the real flavor. You half expect a couple of stuntmen to start brawling next to your table while Jackie walks in and yells, "Dumplings over here!" Next stop, fitness. Because how else do you stay in top shape at nearly 70 when you're still vaulting over fences on set? Jackie teamed up with California Fitness to open the Jackie Chan Signature Club, a chain of gyms where, if you're lucky, someone will smile at you with the same warmth Jackie uses before flipping a bad guy through a window. Want abs like Jackie in Operation Condor? Go for it. Just don't be surprised if you leave the gym feeling like you've been in a sequel. And now, buckle up. Cinemas. That's right. Jackie Chan owns his own cinema chain, known as Yao La Cinemas. By 2015, there were already almost 40 of them. Who knows how many more exist now? Picture this. Watching a Jackie Chan movie in a Jackie Chan-owned cinema while sipping coffee from Jackie Chan Cafe. It's like the Jackieverse multiverse movies could never. But this isn't just about making money. Like a man with deep-rooted, old-school values, Jackie pours a chunk of the profits into charity. Of course, first he builds it up all classy, the business, the brand, maybe a limited edition sneaker line with his face on it. And then he gives back. And you know what? It doesn't even feel forced, because Jackie is one of those rare humans who can do everything, and somehow nobody wants to hate him for it. So if you think business and kung fu don't mix, think again. Jackie doesn't just run companies, he does it with style, with precision, with a roundhouse kick to your expectations. Jackie, are you insane? How an action star gifted 400-year-old houses to a university. If someone told you Jackie Chan collects houses, you'd probably imagine a couple of villas in Los Angeles and a penthouse in Shanghai. But nope, he collects ancient Chinese houses, made of sandalwood, that are over 400 years old, just because he can. At some point in his life, when regular millionaires are busy buying another Ferrari or a yacht with a helipad, Jackie thought, I want to buy Ming Dynasty houses. And not just any houses, but genuine architectural masterpieces from Anhui province, complete with pagodas, inner courtyards, and even a stage for Chinese opera. Why? To rebuild them in Hong Kong in honor of his father. Because while some people give socks, Jackie gives a complex of sandalwood buildings. But alas, Hong Kong bureaucracy said, "Are you out of your mind? We don't even have enough parking space, and you want to build a museum of antiquities?" Jackie, of course, could have staged a kung fu flash mob in front of City Hall, but instead he pulled a move worthy of a Taoist philosopher. He donated these ancient treasures to a university in Singapore, just sent over 10 pavilions, an opera stage, and tons of valuable wood gathered from all over China. No deadlines, no technical briefs, just generosity and respect for heritage. So picture this: a student munching on instant noodles during a break, then heading to class in a building that was originally built centuries before electricity was even a thing, because Jackie Chan thought it was a cool idea. How much did it cost? Well, factoring in transportation, restoration, storage, and reconstruction, a lot. It's rumored the gesture could be worth tens of millions of dollars. But can you really put a price on honoring your ancestors, especially if you're Jackie Chan and your garage is already packed with everything from limited edition Mitsubishis to European luxury cars? The moral of the story? While other celebrities splurge on NFT apes and collectible watches, Jackie preserves Chinese architecture and gifts it to future generations with humor, zero pretension, and a giant heart. So next time you hear the word philanthropist, don't think of boring charity foundations and staged check handovers. Think of Jackie, the man who bought 400-year-old homes and simply gave them away. Because sometimes Kung Fu isn't a kick, it's a punch to the ego. When Kung Fu meets formula, Jackie Chan's motorsports empire. Yes, you heard that right. Jackie Chan isn't just a star of action flicks who kicks people to funky 80s beats. He's also a racer. Well, not personally behind the wheel, most of the time, but the proud owner of his own racing team, and not some weekend go-karting crew either. We're talking real-deal Le Mans, FIA-WEC, and other abbreviations that make car nerds weak in the knees. The team is called Jackie Chan DC Racing, and it was born in 2015, when Jackie apparently woke up one day and decided that punching bad guys on rooftops wasn't enough. Together with professional driver David Cheng, he launched a project that ended up being so successful, it's now a full-fledged contender in some of the world's most prestigious races. And yes, when a car shows up with Jackie Chan's name on it, people pay attention. Now here's where the magic happens. Because motorsports isn't like filming a movie where your stunt double can take a fall for you. Every turn, every pit stop, every tire choice costs millions. Just getting on the track involves blockbuster-sized budgets. Race cars, engineers, logistics, branding, pit crews. The whole motorized circus revolves around a man who used to run across rooftops with a ladder in his mouth. Jackie Chan DC Racing made headlines fast. In 2017, at the legendary 24 Hours of Le Mans, Chan's team came in second overall. Not just in their class, overall. This wasn't just a victory, it was a motorsport scandal. People expected the usual suspects, Toyota, Audi, Porsche, but instead it was Chan, the Kung Fu legend, who stole the podium. Like a movie with a happy ending, only there were no stuntmen and no second takes. And here's the kicker. He didn't turn his team into a gimmick. This wasn't some brand extension or vanity project like, look, I like cars too. No, this was a real racing team, with real engineers, real strategy, and real sweat. A team that doesn't just show up with a Jackie-branded hood ornament, they show up to win. Just think about it. The same guy who broke his nose 50 times filming fight scenes is now pouring millions into machines that fly at 300 km/h around corners, all in the name of speed, precision, and proving once again that Jackie can dominate any field he steps into. Maybe that's the real secret behind Jackie Chan, whether it's in movies, restaurants, fitness clubs, or now on the racetrack at Le Mans. He never does things halfway. No shortcuts. No laziness, just full throttle, always. When Kung Fu meets cappuccino and real estate, how Jackie Chan built his empire. You thought Jackie Chan only fights and jumps off balconies. Please. Turns out our favorite star of ladder fights and refrigerator chases has long since evolved into a full-blown business mogul, with the same enthusiasm he once used to leap across rooftops in armor of God. Let's start with this. Jackie isn't just an actor, he's a brand, and not just some sticker on a lunchbox kind of brand. We're talking coffee shops, gyms, movie theaters, hotels, the full package. First up, the Jackie Chan Cafe. You can find these caffeine temples in Hong Kong, Beijing, Singapore, and even the Philippines. You walk in, order a latte, and boom. There's Jackie, mid-air roundhouse kicking someone on the wall. It's like Starbucks, but with a black belt. Rumor has it, if you drink 3 espressos in a row there, you start doing backflips while quoting Drunken Master. But Jackie didn't stop there. Because after a strong coffee, what do you need? That's right. Abs. So he opened Jackie Chan Signature Clubs, a fitness center chain launched with California Fitness. The message was simple. Want abs like Jackie? Drop the croissant and pick up that dumbbell. No influencers posing with protein shakes here. This is real sweat, Jackie style. Next came the Yaole Cinemas. By 2015, Jackie owned nearly 40 movie theaters. Think about it. Now you can watch Jackie Chan in a Jackie Chan cinema. That's some next-level brand synergy, meta-marketing at its finest. And then there's real estate and hotels, the grown-up playground. Jackie has invested in luxury properties and hotel developments, some of which he later donates to charity. After, of course, making sure they sparkle like one of his high-flying kicks. He's got serious bricks-and-mortar game, not just for fight scenes anymore. To sum it all up, Jackie built his business empire the same way he built his film career, with flair, guts, and absolutely no stunt doubles. He didn't just slap his name on a pizza joint and call it a day. No, he created an ecosystem where the coffee, the gym, the popcorn, and the kung fu, it's all connected. All Jackie. In the end, Jackie isn't just a screen hero. He's a surprisingly energetic entrepreneur. While some Hollywood stars are still debating whether or not to open a barbershop, Jackie's already launched a cafe, a gym, a cinema chain, a hotel, and is probably planning a kung fu academy for cats next. And you know what? He's still making movies. Dad's a hero on screen, and son's behind bars. How J.C. Chan failed the casting call for being Jackie's perfect kid. When your dad is the ultimate martial arts legend of Chinese cinema, you'd think you have 2 career options. Either jump across rooftops like a kung fu demigod, or at the very least, keep your surname free of public shame. But J.C. Chan, son of none other than Jackie himself, chose a third route. Straight to a prison cell, with a cloud of weed smoke marking the way. It all went down in 2014, when Beijing was already knee-deep in a crackdown on drug use and trafficking, waving red banners about clean Chinese youth and moral responsibility. Suddenly, bam! The police raided JC's apartment and found more than 100 grams of marijuana. That's not a stash. That's a herbal museum exhibit. Apparently, JC figured that if he couldn't outshine his dad on screen, he could at least dominate the headlines. Now here's where the story gets spicy. At that exact moment, Jackie Chan was China's official anti-drug ambassador. That's right. While Papa Jackie was doing school tours saying, "Drugs are evil," his son was allegedly rolling a joint and laughing at Bruce Lee memes on the balcony. When JC got arrested, people assumed Jackie would go full celebrity dad mode and call up ministers to smooth things over. But nope. Jackie gave the coldest shoulder this side of the Great Wall. My son is an adult. He must take responsibility for his actions. Translation. I may kick ass in movies, but I'm not here to babysit your bad decisions. JC ended up getting 6 months in a Chinese prison. Not some Hollywood rehab facility with smoothies and yoga, but an actual concrete block with porridge for breakfast and shame as the side dish. It wasn't just a dent in the family's image, it was a full-blown reputation-wrecking ball. The media, of course, pounced like hungry tigers. Some praised Jackie's hard stance, saying he was a true patriot, standing by justice even when it hurt. Others were horrified. How could he abandon his son like that? But Jackie didn't budge. I am guilty as a father. I didn't raise him well, he said in one of the most unexpectedly perfect PR soundbites of his career, better even than his rush hour one-liners. After prison, JC didn't exactly bounce back into the spotlight. Sure, he dabbled in music and tried a low-key film comeback, but in Hong Kong they say, a cracked vase, even glued back together, still looks like a mess. And that about sums it up. Jackie may have eventually tried to mend fences, but in the public eye, the story stuck like dried glue. So what's the lesson here? Even if you're a kung fu superhero who punches bad guys into next week, you can't fight your kids' poor life choices. And maybe you're not supposed to. Maybe being a real action hero isn't about saving everyone, but knowing when to let go. I made a mistake, like any man. Oh, really, Jackie? Most men don't father secret children while being global action stars. When you're Jackie Chan, the face of virtue, the fist of justice, and the official symbol of good dad energy, the last thing fans expect is for you to casually admit, yep, I cheated on my wife and had a child with someone else. But that's exactly what happened in 1999 when former Miss Asia Elaine Ng popped up on magazine covers with a very pregnant belly and a headline screaming, "The baby is Jackie's." And this wasn't a movie. This was real life, and way messier than any Rush Hour plotline. Elaine Ng, actress, beauty queen, knockout. A woman who could have ruled the world, but instead, she won the attention of the ultimate kung fu hero, off-screen and off-contract. And if it had been some D-list actor, maybe the world would have shrugged. But this was Jackie, our Jackie, the man who saves the world in films but couldn't even show up for his own daughter's birthday. While the public tried to process the scandal, Jackie went silent, then finally dropped his now iconic quote, "I made a mistake any man would make." Any man? Really, that's a bold generalization. A mistake is putting salt in your coffee. Having an affair and fathering a child is a whole different level of oops. The daughter from this little mistake was named Etta. She grew up without her dad, because Jackie wasn't exactly rushing to embrace fatherhood. Elaine has openly said that Jackie offered no support. Not emotional, not financial, not even a Christmas card. Which is wild considering this man is a global superstar with a martial arts school, endorsement deals, and enough money to buy a country. Years passed, and Jackie kept flipping on screen, but not flipping pages in a parenting book. Etta grew up and began asking questions. In 2017, she went public with her story, saying she never met her father. Later, she came out as gay, moved to Canada, had a falling out with her mum, and ended up homeless with her girlfriend. Yes, homeless. Jackie Chan's daughter. The internet lost it. Where's Jackie? Why won't he help? How can a billionaire let his own kid sleep under a bridge? But Jackie kept silent, like none of this was his business. He stayed glowing on red carpets, dishing out life advice, and talking about family values like he wasn't totally MIA from his own. And here's the ultimate irony. Jackie was the face of China's Strong Family, Strong Nation campaign. Yep, the same guy who couldn't call his daughter was telling millions how to be good dads. That's like hiring the Grinch to run a Christmas charity. Elaine, for her part, remained graceful in interviews. "I don't hate Jackie, I just regret that my child will never know what a father is." Calm, classy. Meanwhile, Etta was much blunter, saying on YouTube that she got nothing from Jackie. No support, no love, no acknowledgement. So the moral of this messy, tabloid-ready story, you can jump off skyscrapers, crash 10 cars per film, and karate chop 20 bad guys. But if you can't be there for your own child, you're not a hero. You're just a guy with a good stunt double and a bad instinct for fatherhood. Jackie, we love you for your charm, your movies, your laughs, but your biggest battle isn't on screen. It's happening every day in your daughter's life, where you're still painfully absent. The dragon strikes again. Jackie Chan and rumors of a second secret child. Everything you love in one scandal. While fans are still replaying Jackie Chan's legendary stunts on rooftops, staircases, and buses, it seems like Jackie himself is attempting a new kind of acrobatics in his personal life. It's 2025, and Hollywood's gossip machine is once again switched to fire. Presenting the latest headline, Jackie Chan, father of a second illegitimate child. Cue the applause, drop the curtain, and welcome back that good old déjà vu. This time, the spotlight is on Taiwanese actress Lu Xiulin, known for her gentle smile, talented performances, and apparently great taste in men with black belts and a weakness for repeating mistakes. Rumor has it that the 70-year-old Kung Fu king might have fathered yet another child with her. The baby's age and gender remain unknown, but what is known is that the internet is spinning this story faster than a boomerang in police story. What makes this scandal especially juicy? Silence. Absolute silence. Not a single comment. Not from Jackie, not from his PR team. And as we know in showbiz, that kind of silence speaks louder than a confession on Oprah. Typically, if a rumor is nonsense, celebrities rush to deny it. But here, a vacuum. And in a vacuum, rumors only grow bigger. Naturally, fans are split into two camps. One half believes this is total nonsense, stirred up by nostalgia and tabloid fantasy. The other half, the ones who remember the story of Etta Ung, Jackie's daughter from another affair with Miss Asia of the 1990s, are already stroking their chins, saying, well, why not? And honestly, the script is familiar. International fame, gorgeous actresses, a bit of loneliness on tour, and, surprise, 9 months later. Given that Jackie isn't exactly an open book when it comes to his personal life, and sometimes even too closed, many started to note, where there's smoke, there's usually a Chan. By the way, Lu Xiulin isn't new to the industry. She has dozens of TV dramas under her belt, a couple of solid film roles, and a modest but steady career. Her sudden appearance in tabloid headlines could be a brilliant PR move, if not for one catch. Just like Jackie, she's staying silent. No, we're just friends. No, this is complete fiction. Not even a no comment on my personal life. Pure silence, the kind you'd expect from a Shaolin monastery. Sure, you could say, it's just a rumor. But with Jackie, this isn't his first just a rumor that later turned out to be, well, not so false. And if the Etta saga ended with a girl growing up without her dad, running away from home, living under a bridge, and begging the world to notice her, fans are understandably cautious, especially when even Jackie's official family, wife Joan Lin and son JC, haven't always gotten the full Father of the Year energy from him. Maybe Jackie just doesn't want to be changing diapers in his 70s. Maybe he fears Taiwanese tabloids more than a roundhouse kick to the face, or maybe he's hoping this whole thing will just go away on its own. But in a world where scandals last longer than careers and spread like memes, going away just isn't how it works anymore. Ironically, the rumor surfaced just as Jackie was promoting his new charity project to help children across Asia. As they say, irony isn't a style, it's a diagnosis. Either way, the story's unfolding. Fans are watching, the press is warming up, and Jackie himself, still smiling on our screens as if his personal life wasn't the plot of another surreal drama, and we'll be watching. Because if next month another little kung fu heir shows up with Jackie's jawline and Lu Xiulin's hair, we'll be ready to say, we told you so. Dad was James Bond, and Mum was a card shark. Jackie Chan's family secrets that no action movie could top. When you think of Jackie Chan, you picture wild stunts, hilarious bloopers, and that smile, the kind of grin that could charm even Darth Vader. But behind the jumps and punches lies a real-life story that's way more dramatic than any of his blockbuster hits. Because, brace yourself, Jackie Chan found out at the age of 40 that his dad had been a spy and his mom a smuggler and underground gambler. Dinner with parents like that must have felt like an episode of The Sopranos, directed by James Bond himself. The story surfaced out of nowhere. It started like a regular interview, some boring questions about kung fu, his inspiration, and favorite fight scenes. Then boom! Jackie casually drops. "Oh, by the way, my dad was a Chinese spy during the Civil War, and my mum used to smuggle opium." Nope, not a movie plot, his actual life story. Welcome to the show, My Parents, the Undercover Agents. Even the most jaded reporter would perk up at that, because celebrity tantrums are one thing. But when your dad has ties to intelligence services and your mum plays poker for kilos of contraband, now that's hot gossip. The documentary Traces of the Dragon was a revelation. In it, we learn that Charles Chan, Jackie's dad, was an agent for the Kuomintang who fled to Hong Kong after Chiang Kai-shek's defeat. And if that wasn't enough drama, his mum, Lily Chan, was involved in the opium trade and ran in circles where guns, gambling, and shady deals were standard operating procedure. Jackie, for his part, didn't grow up knowing any of this. For 40 years, he thought his parents were just a bit reserved. You know, like the type who don't say, "I love you," or, "Hey, back in the day I smuggled drugs across borders." It wasn't until journalists started digging that this whole cinematic origin story unraveled. Just imagine Jackie's face when he heard the news. The guy spent his whole life believing in hard work, discipline, and comedy kung fu, and then finds out his family history could fill a dozen espionage thrillers. And here's the wild part. He didn't hide from it. Jackie admitted that this bombshell helped him understand himself better, his need for structure, his difficulty expressing emotions, and even why he often kept his private life under wraps. Turns out when your mum's a card shark and your dad's doing covert missions, hugs probably weren't a big thing in your house. Now people might wonder, how did Jackie turn out so nice, so funny, humble, and likable? The answer is, he's the exception. He didn't follow in his family's footsteps. He didn't become a spy or a smuggler. Instead, he launched himself off buildings, broke a few dozen bones, and won the hearts of audiences worldwide. And the most touching part, in Traces of the Dragon, Jackie says all he ever really wanted was to understand his parents. Not judge them, not glorify or shame them, just understand who they were, what they lived through, and why they kept their past hidden for so long. Because at the end of the day, even world-famous action stars sometimes just want a real conversation across the dinner table. Even if that table is surrounded by ghosts, secrets, and a lifetime of unspoken truths. So if you thought you knew everything about Jackie Chan, think again. Behind that grin is not just an actor or a martial arts icon. He's the son of a spy and a smuggler. And maybe that's where his real power comes from. Not from his kicks or flips, but from being able to laugh, forgive, and move forward, no matter what.